Steel Plaza. Please stand clear of the doors.
Welcome back to Darkest Corners of the World. My name's Adam, and today we're going to be taking a journey right back here into the US of A, talking with multi-instrumentalist Alex Bracy from Illinois, close to Chicago. A lot going on in Chicago. Alex, how are you?
Good, man. What's up? How are you?
Good. Is everything calming down over there?
I'm about an hour and a half away from, the center of the city. So it's kind of interesting because people from Illinois, they always say, oh, yeah, I'm from Chicago. But really, most people are from the suburbs. So it's kind of like a running joke in Chicago that people say, oh, yeah, I'm from Chicago. But really, we're hour and a half, sometimes more, but I'm about an hour and a half away from Chicago. So in terms of things with the virus, I think in the city, I don't think it's so good. And to add, more stress on top of things, obviously, the protests and whatnot have sort of really erupted down there. So I have actually kind of avoided the city just for the sake of, both of those things. But there's certainly a lot going down there. But the suburbs are not really too bad. Where I work, we've gone back to classes, in person, with masks and distancing and things like that. But most restaurants are open. People are pretty responsible in terms of wearing the mask and whatnot. But it's kind of an in-between. Nobody really knows what to do, but we're trying to do the responsible thing by wearing our masks. So
possibly the most dangerous city in America right now, 66 shot, 7 fatal from Friday to Sunday. National Guard's been deployed to the city. I don't know what's going on. 98 degrees there, Fahrenheit, for a week straight now. I mean, I don't know. Alex, have you ever been to Montrose Beach? It's dog friendly,
No. Where is that located?
It's near Lake Michigan.
Oh, okay. So this is in the city. So I've been living out in the suburbs probably for nearly my whole life. I have visited Chicago quite a bit, but rarely do I go down there to go down to the beaches or anything like that. Especially recently with everything going on.
It's dog friendly.
Yeah,
though,
I mean,
dog friendly.
I would go there just to see the dogs. I need more dogs in my life, but yeah, that's one of my immediate goals is to actually have a dog. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the violence going on in the city, that's something that's been ongoing for a while. It's unfortunate, and I think it even kind of reached some of the levels to the presidency and whatnot. I know when he initially admitted into office, he made mention that he wanted to clean some of the crime up. It's interesting because I'm involved with somebody that lives in South America, and where they're from, you hear things notoriously about being dangerous and being violent. And then the first time they came here, they'd heard about Chicago, and to me, that's so close to home, but you don't think of it. But yeah, man, that they call it the murder capital of the world. So
it's
unbelievable. I try to avoid parts of that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
and the fact that you're not even an hour away probably is that's a terrifying thing to me or anybody listening, that you're right there near a place where if you zoomed out on it on a globe, it would just look like those cartoon fists in a smokestack fighting from the sky, just
right.
Constant. Yeah, like the Looney Tunes type of thing. It's crazy. They're sending in the National Guard. They've already been deployed. They're mobilized. And they're doing this in a lot of cities that are like Chicago, that the store owners are writing FAAFO on their buildings and then drawing, I don't know if they're spray painting the National Guard logo of their state underneath it. I didn't know what that meant. I'm in the National Guard, and I've been around we've been very busy this year. The National Guard's been very busy. And I've seen it in a lot of
Right.
different cities. I saw it in Philadelphia. I saw the FAAFO in Philadelphia with the Pennsylvania Keystone logo under it, like the National Guard Keystone.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know what it meant. Did you know what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what that means?
It seems almost like an SOS symbol, like save our ship, or please help come protect us, or something like that. But
You would
certainly
think.
anybody can fact check me. I'm not sure.
You would think,
but it's absolutely
I found out what it means. I found out what it means. So the store owners,
all right, I'm ready.
the store owners and the businesses are writing FAAFO, which stands for fuck around and find out.
Oh, okay. I mean, that sounds like the city. I mean, the thing is, like, it's kind of weird because obviously where I live, it's an hour and a half away. Okay, it's still pretty close, but I'm fortunate enough to kind of live and work in an area where it's not like that. It's not at all. No gang affiliations or anything that are actively a problem, in our society or in sort of our culture of just our smaller towns. And even I'll say that too. I mean, I don't know how things have gotten because I haven't gone to the city in years, but I know that there's certain parts of it that okay, this is safe here, but then you venture out, you're like, no, you don't go on a boat, we're going there. So it's kind of weird. I mean, the city is very, very large. So there's there's South Side, West Side and stuff like that. And usually people say oh, avoid South Side or something like that.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm not even really actively, I think I've maybe driven past there once or twice in my whole life, but you just kind of know to avoid those areas, so.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's an endearing thing that local citizens and civilians are writing FAAFO and then using the National Guard, patch for whatever state they're in as almost like the bat symbol, as like you said, like an SOS. I think that's an endearing thing that's happening right now.
It's definitely, I mean, it's impossible to look at a country or a state or anything and say we need to take care of everything instantly, especially when you're on an internet or a national level, looking at everybody's different states. But it's definitely the obvious, or kind of like the elephant in the room when it comes to Illinois that really needs to be helped. I mean, I think we pay some of the highest taxes here and stuff too, so it's kind of notoriously known for being relatively crooked. But at the same time, it's like, you see something like that, and especially, in the midst of everything else going on in terms of racial relations and whatnot, you see where some people, this isn't even necessarily a racing, but you see where some people begin, their life and what they have to start on, the foundation that they begin life on. And it's just, that's where things need to be changed. That's where people need to, where we need to fix some problems. So it's, at least in our neck of the woods, I can't speak for everybody. I don't know, the national terrain, but yeah, it comes out on the newspaper and people, shake their heads, 30 people killed, and it's just like the old joke when one person dies. It's what do they call it, a tragedy? But when more than one people die, it's a statistic, and it seems like that. It's like this is continually happening, and we've the city of Chicago has just turned a blind eye to it and said we don't have the funds or whatever to change this, and it's sad. People are people, and people are dying, and
right.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's probably, especially now more than ever, it's probably getting maybe less national attention with other things going around. But
sure,
but yeah, absolutely, it's a mess, as with some other things going on. So.
And people even call it the Middle East of the United States, and I mean,
yeah, they call it Chirac.
Exactly, Chirac.
Yep.
It's absolutely crazy. And, everybody says, and it's such a blanket thing. It's such a throwaway statement. Everybody says thoughts and prayers for Chicago, thoughts and prayers. And to me, that does absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't help anything. It's like arguing on, politics over online or something. It's like, you're not really making a difference, or even, in the Black Lives Matter, you said like, oh, I'm going to, change my thing to the black circle or something. I mean, it's good. You're showing your appreciation, but I'm not sure it's like really changing the root of the problem or anything. You know what I mean? I'm not sure like we're actually changing laws to help, other people
right.
or anything like that. So
virtue signaling, Alex, virtue signaling.
Yeah, exactly. That's the word.
Is so oversaturated now that it's almost laughable. Almost laughable. You have Karens.
Mm-hmm. Karens. Yeah, that's a new thing to come out, I think.
You have all the Karens virtue signaling all over the internet that they're for Black Lives, they're for this, they're for that, they're for helping Chicago, they're for helping. What have they done? You know what they did, Alex? Thoughts and prayers. That's what they did, Alex. Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah. I don't know if that's doing anything, but thoughts and prayers. I mean, I guess that's better than nothing.
Right. So, Alex, you're so good at everything you do, and I'm not blowing smoke. I'm 100% serious. How did this start? When did you start doing this? Like, what instrument did you start with? Were you Joe Jackson'd into it? Like, did you do it on your own? What happened?
I appreciate that. I think I'm somebody that always looks to improve in everything I'm doing. So I'm never where I want to be, but I'm always actively trying to get better. I think they always say, like, to be proud of who you are and what you do, but always still be learning and trying to strive to be better. So, but I appreciate that. But to answer your question, I would say I started 13 or 14 years old or something like that. And originally, and even up until the dawn of my most recent project, Alex Bracy Music, I've just been really a lead guitar player in a multitude of every band I've ever been in across, a ton of different genres. So I think the guy that inspired me, to really take my music and my guitar playing up to a more a better, more technical standpoint is probably Eddie Van Halen. So I always list him as like the most influential musician or musical icon in my life. And I think it's around 13 or 14, so when the first time I saw his, live rendition of Eruption, it was like a 14-minute solo on the DVD Live Without a Net, and it just blew me away. And it was like, the first time you see David Blaine's like magic special or something, you're just like, how the heck do people do this?
Right.
And then and then I went pretty much on a quest. I was very dedicated, just learning what the heck he was doing. And so much, it became more of an obsession. I would always listen to Van Halen for a couple of years, a couple of years in a row, and just digest it, learn it, watch it, just really, that was what got me into taking my playing to higher levels, really how I put it. Ever since then, I mean, I've been involved in everything from, thrash metal to jazz to, classical guitar to big band jazz to, cover bands with dance and country pop and rock and, and kind of fast forward today, I'm doing, a lot of kind of hard rock, very 90s alternative rock, grunge influenced kind of music.
Right.
But, but in terms of sort of the progression of things, in terms of like moving from one instrument to the next, I started off as a guitar player, and I really was that for the longest time. And even I was a music student. I majored. You have to pick an instrument to major. I majored in guitar. So guitar is my main instrument. And then after that, I think I probably picked up bass in the last 5 to 10 years. Most stringed instruments have somewhat of a similarity to them. So even something like ukulele is another popular stringed instrument that I play and teach. But that's, if you can take one aspect from guitar, you can kind of get a somewhat of a comfortability relatively quickly between, guitar and even bass too. I mean,
I agree. I agree. I know that if you can play guitar adequately, you can play the bass, you can play the ukulele, or anything that has, strings on it. I mean, myself, I can play the accordion, I can play the drums, I can play the bass, I can play guitar. but I started on guitar, and it's sort of like everything just sort of came from that, you know?